So we're going to try and go without Miss Jen tonight. This is Michael.
And I'm Laura.
Hi.
I brought the red hair.
Nice.
So we got that going for us.
So we got that covered. And there's two of us, and we got a few books to go through. I guess I'll go ahead and go first.
That sounds
all
great.
right?
Sure.
All right, cool. So I went through 4 today, and the first was The Precinct. And so this was pretty cool, actually. It was a little different. It's kind of a lot of setting up the characters for this, but it's basically kind of a steampunky crime noir type deal, where there's this this lady here is part of this group of like magicians type people, alchemists, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then the gentleman with the robotic arm is part of the precinct, which is basically the police force. And they both, in their own way, are fighting the monsters that haunt the city, and they're teamed up by fate, and so they're just trying to feel each other out and get a good idea of how they feel about each other, and obviously about all the monsters that they're fighting. So, pretty interesting little read. I also read Street Fighter Unlimited. This was interesting. I'm a big Street Fighter fan. When I was a kid growing up, I played a lot of Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. There's a couple of the characters that I recognized. I haven't really followed the series in a while, so perhaps all of them are in the Unlimited series. But it definitely creates a couple situations where they get to fight each other, as you would expect. And there's an overarching storyline that looks like it's going to continue over, where one of them is being consumed by a great evil force. So, that's kind of exciting, I guess, if you're into that.
So they're going to really start fighting each other.
Yes, now
that's cool.
They're really start fighting each other, because nobody likes the consuming evil force.
Right.
Cool. And then Snowblind is a new part 1 of 4 from Boom. And this was a pretty cool little tale. This teenage kid is kind of a little rebellious because his parents moved him to Alaska, granted when he was a baby from Louisiana, but they never really explained to him why they were there. He's always a little bit rebellious, but his idea of rebelling is breaking into the library and reading books until he gets arrested. So it's
that's awesome.
It's kind of funny.
I approve.
He gets mad at his dad one night and takes a picture and posts it on social media, and all things start to break loose as he discovers that there's more to this past of his parents than he thought, and so the story gets a little interesting as other things transpire, for sure.
Kind of like a witness protection program, kind of.
Something very similar to that. Yeah, you're on the
cool.
You're on the right track,
awesome.
For sure. So I definitely recommend this. My second favorite out of the night, but definitely a good read.
I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah, and then so the best one that I read tonight, I just will give the one caveat that it's super adult, and not just language, but art as well.
Okay.
Is like full on adult. So just be prepared for that. If you can live with that, this is a great read. So this is about these people that are being hunted by some organization, and they all have some type of powers. They don't fully understand what the powers are. We don't really get to see what happens to them after they're captured by this organization, but the gentleman here in the middle with the suit has tasked himself with another mission, and he is, through the course of this first book, he gets in time to save a few of the people, and so they're kind of their own little merry group now, called the Troop, obviously. And so they're going to be, it looks like they're going to be facing off against this other organization that's capturing people of their kind. So kind of a little mutiny, or mutinish like type vibe, little heroes kind of vibe, because they all have different powers. I would say it's like Inhumans, but that's because I love Inhumans.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the beginning of this season. Yeah,
for sure. So, excellent read. I recommend everyone that can stand mature content read this immediately. So, that's it for me. The Troop, that one was called, by the way.
By Titan.
Yes.
Not a name we see a whole lot. Glad to see they're getting in there. All right. Well, I have 3 books for you. Michael was our overachiever this week. So I'm going to start out with, keep it on the independent track. This is called The Violet. It's by Image. It is everything you would expect from Image. it's the beginning. It kind of sets up the story. It starts out with this guy. You don't really know what he's doing, but you find out throughout the course of this first issue, he's been in prison. He's out of prison. He's doing his best to clean up his life. And he's honestly trying. And it's just one of those people that life just kind of happens to him. And he wants to help out. He wants to be a good guy. He wants to do the right thing, but it's hard. But because he wants to help his friends, and his friends have problems, and his wife has problems, and they're trying really hard, but things are not going well for them. Despite the title, there's not a whole lot of violence in this issue. I have a feeling that it's going to make up for it in later issues.
It'll lead up to
Yeah.
the suspense.
Yeah. Well, and the title is Blood Like Tar, and it does kind of
right.
go with family and all the blackness and everything. The artwork is typical image artwork, fantastic, well drawn, well colored. The scenes and the colors set the tones for the scenes. It's just I enjoyed this. This was probably my favorite read this week for sure. It's definitely going places. Starts out slow, just like I love Image, so
Yeah,
it was all about me. All right, next one, Scarlet Witch. This is the Marvel read of the week. Number 1. I will admit, don't really know. There's obviously things that happened before. You know what? I meant to ask you about this. If there was anything that you know about this before.
I don't know, unfortunately. Sorry.
Okay. No. It's fine. Now I never. Of course, nobody's finished Secret Wars yet. I haven't been able to keep up with the Secret Wars main title, but the titles that I have been reading don't have Scarlet Witch in them. So I'm not really knowing what's going on when this starts out. But it's Scarlet Witch. It is Wanda Maximoff. And she is on her own. It starts out with the beginning that has a splash page of her standing there with the Avengers. And it's like, yay, Avengers assemble, and it's all happy. But then she goes on and she's off on her own. And she's got this problem that she just has to solve by herself. And it's very, very wordy. It's not your typical Marvel action-packed. It felt more like a boom title.
Okay.
And the writing and the thought-provokingness and yeah. It was just not what I was expecting at all. But anyway, she's kind of trying to help solve crimes, and she's on the path of this thing. All the cats are dying, and she's trying to figure that out. But it's all related to like violent crimes. So people commit these violent crimes they don't remember committing, and it's all a certain group of people. And she's working on it. She's trying to figure out, but there's something else going on. And she's got this companion with her, Agatha, who's dead.
Okay, cool.
So there's more to that story. I'm sure that it was in a previous issue somewhere. I just don't know what it is. But Scarlet Witch, definitely a thinker. So. My last title this week is a crossover between DC and IDW. It's Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. And this is a 6-issue miniseries. So not a whole lot of commitment there. If you love Batman and you love Turtles, this is all Batman and all Turtles.
All right.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, the artwork is very much, it looks to me, it's not typical what I would think of DC artwork. It looks more like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic. And it kind of reads that way too, more so than Batman. But it's really odd because all the ads in here are all DC. So it's definitely a mix of both worlds.
So you get to use Batman, but we'll get the ads, basically, is what
Yeah,
DC said?
yeah. Well, and even, and I know you can't really see this here, but even the way Batman's face is drawn, it just screams IDW art to me, not DC art. He's not chiseled, he's more bubbly, kind of like the Turtles, but the Turtles are super, super awesome. This book would be good for kids, too, older kids who like Turtles. Again, there's the typical cartoon violence, but there's no language, there's no nudity, nothing offensive in here. My kids would love this, and I would totally let them read it. But basically, it's kind of like with the earlier one, the Precinct that you were talking about, where they're kind of thrown together and they don't really know why.
Sure.
Batman and the Turtles are both hunting the Foot, and Shredder, and there's something going on, and the Turtles are out of their world, and they're trying to figure out how to get back, and the Foot's trying to figure it out too, and they're getting mixed up with Batman. So what's going to happen there? But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Are they in Gotham?
Yes, yes, they are in Gotham. The Turtles are a little they kind of miss home. They've kind of tried to recreate home, but they've determined they and Splinter's there too, and they've decided it's not really a good place for them to be.
All right.
But the Foot knows how to get back, but they don't.
All right, so they have to sort it out.
Yeah, and they decide to break into a Wayne Enterprises facility, which is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And the Turtles find the Bat car, and yeah, Batman's not too happy with them.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right, I guess that's it for us this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week.